Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a free-for-all match on the map Innocence. I'm playing in the bottom right hand corner as the Soviets. Now this part of the map is the best place in the map to start because you've got like 3 big ore patches nearby. It's sort of out the way and easy to defend. So this is probably the best starting position I could possibly have. And at the moment I'm just taking out some infantry, and as you can see there's lots of like narrow gaps leading into my base, which are very easy to defend early on. And I'm guessing what will probably happen is it's a free-for-all with 4 players, is that each person will get like a corner. That's how it usually works, I think, when positions are selected. So I'm on this corner. The person in the top right probably has the worst position possible because that has like well, it's awkward to get to the ore. So that's obviously good for me. And at the moment I'm just getting scouting. Now in free-for-alls it's really good to get like as much map visibility as you can early on. We can see there's Cyan there, and we just managed to stop that. That was a bit careless. I almost let him into my base. But as I was saying, it's very important to get lots of map visibility early on when you're playing in free-for-all games. Just so you can see what's going on in other parts of the map, and see if anyone's taking any extra MCVs. I mean, that's really important. And there we can see that Cyan has actually moved their initial starting position for the MCV. So instead of, because you can see where my infantry is running up there, that's where Cyan would have started, but they've actually opted to take the CV across and put it down there. And that's because they probably know how bad that position is for like getting to ore and things. So they decided to move to a more favourable position. But what that will mean is that they'll have wasted a bit of time and they'll be a bit slow in the early game. Now it's not always that bad in a free-for-all. Sometimes you can catch up because people are a bit more hesitant when attacking people. And you can see I'm getting quite a lot of good visibility here in this part of the map as well. And we can see green's in the bottom right, bottom left, and we can see that pink must be in the top left. And now we're getting out those heavy tanks. I have gone for my 2 ore refineries before I go for my double war factory. And what I'll do is I'll start expanding to use that other ore patch as well, just above my base, which is a bit like harder to get to because of the narrow path. And yeah, we could just see quite a lot of the map at the moment. And it looks like Cyan may have moved, unless they've actually started in the middle of the map, maybe. But we're getting a decent number of tanks out now, so we've got enough to defend any of the gaps should anyone come. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build a service depot because I'm going to be wanting to get MCVs out. And it's always a good idea, like, to get MCVs in a free-for-all game because, okay, you're going to be vulnerable to earlier attacks, but in free-for-all games they often take a bit longer, and you often have a bit more like flexibility. People are less likely to attack other people because if you when you attack other people, you do leave your base undefended. And then if someone at the other side of the map does get multiple MCVs, which I do believe Eric will in this game because Eric's well known as getting lots of MCVs. And we've got a money box there. That's really good. Going to give us a bit more money, which is always nice. And yeah, that'll be good as well, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be building some Tesla coils while I get these extra MCVs, just for a bit more protection in case. And what you should always do is when you place a new MCV down, just pause the building pause your building and start it up again, because it gets that increased building speed. And I'm also going to build a radar dome, which is another good addition playing free-for-all matches. And we can see pink are in the top left. They've moved a little bit to the side, but we can see them there. So we can see all our players' positions right now. We've got good map visibility and map coverage, so there's not going to be anyone sneaking up on us now that we've got a radar dome. And you can see I've just got a couple of Tesla coils there, just around that entrance, just so if someone does try and attack from the north, they're going to have a bit of trouble, because yeah, those Tesla coils are in a good position there. And now I'm taking out another MCV. And what you can see with this one is I'm moving it upwards because I'm going to want to expand. And the thing is, I can't just base crawl from where I am. That's the only disadvantage, I guess, of where I'm starting. I'm just building plenty of power plants there, just in case I need to build like a load of Tesla coils. I don't want to be getting running out of power. And what you can see is I'm migrating towards that middle patch, because there's obviously a lot of ore to be had there. So I'm going to be building up my base around this patch at the moment. And you can see that Cyan and Pink have started to fight, which is all good for us. We can see Green are also getting involved. They've got some tanks coming up, so we'll see where they're going. And I'm also bringing my tanks, because as soon as, if my opponents have scouted well, they'll see me getting my extra MCV into this middle patch, and that's obviously going to be, they're not going to be happy about that if they see it. They're going to obviously want to try and prevent me from doing that. The good thing about expanding as well is I can spread out my ore trucks, so I'm not just using one patch, and what that means is I'm not going to run out of ore very quickly. And I'm going to start taking that ore in the top, to the top right of me. Since my Cyan have moved their position, they're not going to be using that ore patch, so I should be able to take some of that and make advantage of that as well. And we can see that Green are coming. It looks like they're going to go to the left of my base. So what I'm going to have to do is make sure I get some Tesla coils placed down, because they're using light tanks. And light tanks are very weak when you use Tesla coils. They seem to be circling around, maybe towards the bottom. But as I've got loads and loads of power... Oh, they're retreating. Got scared of my 3 heavy tanks. But we're going to need to defend against these heavy tanks at my base at the moment. And it shouldn't be any trouble at all. And yeah, just we'll destroy that Tesla coil as well. Don't let them get built up. And you can see he's bringing his tanks in to defend. But I mean, at the moment, I've got a big lead on Cyan, because I'm just at all those different ore patches, which is going to give me a much better economy. So when it and I've got lots of MCVs, so when it comes to building Tesla coils, I'm going to be much faster. So even though I've invested a lot in those extra MCVs at the start, my long game plan is going to be much better at this stage. And you can see we're actually getting a bit wiped at the moment, so we're going to have to pull back. We don't want to lose all our forces. And you can see our ore's starting to build up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build an extra war factory. But what I've noticed on my radar dome is that Pink are beginning to expand, and that's a bad thing for me. So we're going to have to deal with them before too long. And you can see Cyan is coming on the attack. So I'm going to need to defend this. Obviously I've got tanks, I've also got Tesla coils to help with me. So I should be able to deal with this without too much trouble, but they could do a little bit of damage to my economy first. And you can see those tanks are starting to get low on HP, and it looks like we're going to be able to wipe them out. And this is going to put Cyan in a very vulnerable position, because they're still... oh, and there's Pink. Where are Pink going? So we're going to have to be careful here. I don't know whether they're going to attack... for an instant there, I thought they were going to go for the other part of my base, but they've seemed to pull up a little bit. Unless they saw Cyan fighting me and they thought, I don't know, I'll go for a different part of the base. Anyway, you can see Pink are there. They've got a good number of heavy tanks, and they've got an absolute cracking economy by the look of it. You can see they expanded right from that top left position all the way to the middle of the map. So they'll be making use of those ore patches, and I dare say they'll have multiple MCVs to help. But as you can see, my tank numbers are starting to build up now, and yeah, it's going to be a hard fight this, so we're going in. And yeah, the most important thing here is just try and keep the tanks moving. Obviously I'm going to be using Q move just to target, so they're targeting on one tank at a time. And you can see I'm just moving a little bit. That's good. They're not moving at all, so I should be okay at this point. Yeah, but you can see just the tank numbers there. They've just got that tank advantage. So I'm going to need to probably pull back for the time being. And I think they've noticed I don't know if you actually noticed I was attacking him at first. but he's definitely noticed now, and he is responding. But you can see that Cyan have took this opportunity to take out those ore trucks to the top right, and you can see that I've got Pink advancing from the left side, but I have got lots of Tesla coils there to help me. And I do need to use tanks with those Tesla coils, because as you can see, Tesla coils are very, very weak when they're alone. You do need to definitely use tanks with them, because they have low HP, and tanks and Tesla coils are a very strong combination, but only when used together. So Pink hasn't come too close yet, which is a good thing, because I've only got Tesla coils and I've got my tanks there at the moment. But we're bringing our tanks in now. And we're going to see if he's going to go on the attack. Is he going to go on the attack, or is he going to pull back? And I think it's probably a good idea for him at this point to pull back, because he hasn't got that great tank numbers. They're not that much greater than mine. And if he tries to take the attack fighting my tanks and the Tesla coils at the same time, then he could very well lose. But I think Cyan's going on the attack at Pink at the moment, and I'm going to take this opportunity to have a go at Pink's economy. I've got those Tesla coils defending my base, so I'm not too worried, I guess, about that. And we're going to take out some of these ore refineries. Just hamper them a bit, push them back a little bit. And we've been able to do quite a little bit of damage there. But you can see that Cyan, again, as soon as I attack another player, Cyan comes in for the attack. But yeah, we've gone too far in to make it we don't want to make it a wasted chip. We're going to try and take out a lot of Pink's infrastructure. And now I'm pulling back into his base. But you can see that Cyan's going for the it looks like the power plants at the moment. I've got plenty in the back of my base source, so that's okay for now. And you can see I think Pink's pulled back actually. So yeah, but you can see I've lost quite a lot of troops here. And yeah, I'm just building lots of Tesla. I think I've got, as well as trying to build more and more tanks. Right, so yeah, you can see I've been pulled back a bit, but I've got a bit of defense now. And you can see I think Pink's going on the charge now. He's going to try and take out these tanks that I've got. So I'm just, before he gets here, because we can see that he's got a huge number of tanks, we're just going to try and take out these couple of ore refineries here, and we're going to go right into his main base. As we can see, he's got those numerous MCVs, 3 there, and I think we saw other parts of the map. So he's definitely going for the multi-MCV build, which is very, very powerful as it allows you to build buildings very, very quickly. But it looks like we've been able to do a lot of damage here, and this is going to hurt Pink a lot, because he's going to need to rebuild those MCVs, which is going to take away time for building tanks. That is if he wants to replace the MCVs he's lost. My main base at the moment has been untouched, which is sort of a good thing. We'll have to keep an eye on green though, because we haven't seen much of green. They could be like just building up the forces more and more. And I'm now getting my 4th war factory out, which is going to increase my tank's building speed and give me great tank numbers to fight Pink with. And we can see he's starting to build like ore refineries back down here, but because we've taken out those MCVs, any buildings he's lost is going to take a lot longer to replace. So yeah, you can see he's still got a good number of MCVs around this area, but we are pushing them back and we're destroying those buildings. I think he's sizing up Cyan at the moment, it looks like. And at the moment I'm looking okay from... And we managed to clear all those tanks from that area, which means the ore trucks are going to have to go back to Pink's base. But what we can see is Cyan has surrendered. He's dropped out of the game. So now it's going to be us versus Pink, and also green might be getting into the mix. I can see some green tanks down there from my radar. And I think there's just a couple of health bars on my screen, but we're dealing with Pink at the moment. And you can see Pink's gone from the other direction, and he's going for an attack on my base. So we're going to have to defend this. He does have quite a good number of tanks here. Well, we can see by the number of ore refineries he's built, the number of ore trucks he must have on map must be absolutely massive. So he's got a good army here, and it's a lot bigger than the army I've got at the moment. But what I do have is I do have Tesla coils helping me out. But we do have to try and defend our best on this. We can see that green has got some a little army to the left of the map, so we'll have to see if he decides to attack. You can see pink's pulling back for the time being. I don't know if he sees what green's doing and decides that he'd better hold back a little bit. And this is really good because it gives me a little bit of time just to build my tank numbers back up. The hard thing at the moment, though, is that my access to ore is like difficult because pink's whole army's like stood there.
Unit ready. Building. Construction complete.
And yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repair some of those tanks. Because what you'll notice is I'm low on budget. I've not got much ore. And it's a lot it's a lot cheaper just to repair a tank using a service depot than getting a new tank. So that tank was basically on red and would have been done for with one shot. Now it's like going to be fully healed up at a fraction of the price that it costs to get a new tank. And what you can see as I'm moving that MCV to the northeast, just to use that ore patch that I was using before Cyan took out my forces on there. And what you can see is I'm just going to heal as many of those tanks as possible. And you can see that pink have moved an MCV to that position, so I'm going to try and take out that while pink and just leave enough to defend my current position. Ooh, and there's also a money box there. Let's see, it was just troops. No, but, right, so we're going to try and take out that pink MCV, because what we don't want pink to be able to do is to use that MCV to build more ore refineries, which then can mine off the same ore that my ore trucks are on. And you can see pink's quite condensed for the time being. They've been pushed back into the very top left-hand corner of the map. And at the moment, it looks like we've got a stalemate. And that's a problem where sometimes when you have 3 players playing, you've got pink, who's got the biggest army. He doesn't want to attack me because he's frightened he'll lose too much and then won't be able to defend from green. And you've got green, who's just waiting there, enjoying himself at the moment, I guess. Right, now pink's coming in. He's now committed. And he's going for the attack. He's going to try and take out the Tesla coils first. But he has to get past a wall of tanks in order to do that. And you can see how you have your tanks in front of your Tesla coils to help defend. And you need your Tesla coils far enough forward in order to be able to be in range, but you don't want them too far forward, else they'll be easily picked off. But you can see he's gone in the dive, and suddenly it's looking very, very good for me. With the help of the Tesla coils, I've been able to whittle down this force, and I'm starting to look like I've got the same tank numbers, or maybe even more, than pink have at the moment. And yes, it's looking absolutely great now, and now we're going to be able to push back. And the thing is, pink's economy has been really, really damaged from the fights we took early on, so they haven't been able to, they won't be able to replace those tanks as quickly as they would have. And we're going to take out some of those ore trucks. Yeah, because we do sort of want to be able to use that ore, so we don't want pink to be using it. But you can see pink are trying to expand in sort of like a different direction. Instead of going into the middle, they're now trying to go across the top of the map. I think that's partly to do with green. They don't want to go too close to green. They're hoping green will probably attack me at some point, possibly. But it looks like green are more in pink's direction at the moment. And we're going to take out these ore trucks. And it's not looking too bad at the moment. I guess it just depends on what green have left. But we're going to... And pink have surrendered. So now it's a 1v1. Me against... green. I'm going to see, because green, I don't think they've really taken any fights yet, so they've had all game just to build up their tank numbers, so we're going to see how green do. What I do notice though is they have got light tanks, and one thing I know about light tanks is they're very weak against Tesla coils, so that's obviously a big plus with me being Soviets and being on multi-MCV. And we can see now green are starting to take in their light tanks. They're coming across the top of the map. I think they might be trying to dive around the back possibly. And you can see they've got a good number here, but we have a good number. Well, we don't have a good number of tanks, but we have a good number of Tesla coils in my base. And I think green are going to find it very, very difficult to push very far, just due to the sheer number of Tesla coils. But you can see they're coming from the top. and those aren't light tanks and medium tanks, so green are at both sides of my base at the moment. I do need to just, if I can hold this, I'll be in a very, very good position. But you can see my tank numbers are right down. My economy is all right, but that could change very, very quickly. But we need to take out these medium tanks that are on this ore patch at the top, and that looks like it's going to be not too much of an issue. But you can see the light tanks and medium tanks and artillery are pushing into my base at the bottom. So we'll come back to defend this position, and it looks like they're going for my economy. They're going for that ore truck. And what I'm going to do is I'm just trying to keep the bulk of my tanks. I'm not going to dive in too far. I'm just going to keep my tanks a bit back, just so the green are still in range of my Tesla coil. You can see them trying to take the Tesla coil out. You can see green's already got boats, which is probably a bad thing. I guess if they've got cruisers, though, they'll be able to damage a lot of my base in the bottom right, though. So it might not be such a bad idea. We'll have to see. But at the moment, it's looking like we're stabilising, and it's looking like we can defend this. You can see green's getting more reinforcements in. They must have some sort of economy going. But what I do notice is green has remained very localised. What I mean is they've kept like within the starting place. So what they should have probably been doing throughout the game is expanding to other ore patches. Just expanding the base outwards. And what we can see, I'm out of power, and there's a good reason for it. The cruisers have started firing, so they're going to be taking out a lot of that base at the moment. Fortunately for me, though, I've got a lot of economy and a lot of base outside that position, so I'm just going to have to be careful here, because I'm going to need to keep my Tesla coils in commission, basically. If you lose your power, obviously, you lose your Tesla coils. And it looks like I might be losing some MCVs here as well.
Unit ready. Building.
But as you can see, I'm just moving that one. I'm moving them upwards a bit just to get out of the range of the cruisers. One thing green will have, playing as the allies, is he will have a tech centre. And you need a tech centre to build cruisers anyway, which means he's going to have full map visibility. Full map visibility can be a big advantage in like free-for-alls. He'll be able to see my whole base. He'll know where my weak spots are. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him take a few tanks maybe to the south of my base, where he has the cruisers to back him up. Yeah, if you wanted to be really cheeky, you could also take an MCV there and build a war factory and force me to try and go down against his... Oof. Yeah, I'm just having to... Oh, yeah, he's probably taking out my radar dome, so I can't see much at the moment. And my economy is in a bad place at the moment. Yeah, because my ore patches near my base have been used up because it's been quite a long match. And... yeah, I haven't been able to expand out as much as I wanted to. So what I'm going to need to do at the moment is I'm going to need to expand to these northern places. The places of the map that haven't been explored as much or have been left a little bit to the places where pink were. Because that's where the ore's going to be had still. So what you can see is I'm just taking this fight with green. It looks like green's napping a little bit, and this is very good for me because what I'll do is I'll move my tanks around, and his tanks are stationary, and he'll take heavy losses. As we can see, he's been wiped up there very easily, and now I'm going to go for these tanks here. You can see they're spread out quite nicely. It's going to be quite easy for me to hopefully take them out. Yeah, he needs to have a bit of... he's been dozing off a little bit. And you can see, even though we've taken out a great number of tanks, we've managed to keep up good tank numbers. And now you can see I'm making advantage of these extra ore patches. And yeah, we can see we're going to wipe him up here, really. So what green should have done is he should have had all those tanks grouped together, and then he should be darting around and fighting me that way. But he's left them too stationary, and I think he's been looking at other places where he can attack, and he hasn't kept too much notice of this position here. So we're going to take out these two ore trucks, and that's this is a decisive battle for us, I think, at the moment. And you can see we're just managing to completely clear up. I am getting a bit of a better access to ore at the moment, so I am going to be able to buy more tanks. And we can see we're clearing up these ore trucks at the moment, and that's going to hurt green's economy greatly, because green doesn't have too many places he can get ore anymore.
Insufficient
And yeah, now we're starting to advance a little bit. I've got 3 ore trucks there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that MCV to that ore patch in the top left position, which is going to help me even more. But I think this is probably a decisive move at the moment. We can see he's got the cruisers firing on my base, but they can't do too much against the tanks at this side of the map. So let's see, we're managing to push him back. We'll get rid of those pillboxes. And really, pillboxes against heavy tanks, they just scratch you. They're more of a nuisance. They don't really do too much though. The time pillboxes become really useful is against infantry and against light tanks. And since we're playing against as the Soviets with heavy tanks, it wasn't too much. It's not too much of an issue. That's the one thing Allies really lack, is good base defences. And I mean, if you want to use something that's like decent against tanks as the Allies, then what you do is you use turrets. Turrets do they do alright damage. I mean, it's not a game changer, it's nothing like a Tesla coil, let's say, but they do alright. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for that tech centre, because once we get rid of that tech centre, what will happen is green will lose visibility of the whole map. So green won't be able to see anything, and now we're going for the MCV. So you do see he did actually go for double MCV, which would have increased his building speed. But what he needed to do is also use that building speed just to expand his base out to different parts of the map. And you can see it's looking very dire for green at the moment, and I don't think there's any way he can bounce back from this. I mean, one of the big things for free-for-all is I think multi-MCVs are like usually a must. Because I mean, if you don't multi-MCV, some other team is. That's the problem. And that other team that does multi-MCV is always going to have the big advantage. So I think you always have to do it at some point. The question is how risky do you go? Oh, we can see he did have a ore refinery outside there. I guess it was hard early on for green to push out because of pink and where pink was, but managed to take out that ore refinery. And now I guess it's just the buildings near the shoreline at the bottom of the map. But yeah, I mean, it's always how risky do you want to be? I mean, it's the same like when you do 1v1s, only it's not multi-MCVs, it's like ore trucks you're looking at. How many ore trucks do you want to build before you start building tanks? The more ore trucks to build, the better economy you're going to have. But you're going to have fewer tanks to help be able to defend. And you can see this game is now over, and I think that's his last ore refinery. And that is good game. Right, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.